Okay, so welcome again to our TC Search 1.0 for biology course. And last 2 weeks we talked about the organelles and the life processes. So I gave you like the two options to remember the life processes, right? So there's the Regents acronym and the Mrs. NERC. And right now I want to talk about the human body systems, and I will send you the link of Arduino, which is this one. Check it in your chat and let me know if it works.
Yeah, it does work. It gave me a.
Okay. So, are you able to type your answer?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll take like 2 minutes to answer the question, and we'll go over it. Okay, so you said they have organelles that works as like homeostasis. Okay, how about like make it more specific? Like,
So basically, let's say that unicellular organisms, they have like one cell, and inside that one cell they might have mitochondria, and then vacuoles, maybe vacuoles, and then uh, endoplasmic reticulum, and then stuff like that. So they can like make energy, and then like that, like
yeah.
maintain
Yeah,
a
you're right.
homeostasis inside like one cell.
Yeah, so basically you're right. I just want to add that unicellular organisms are independent on their own. So the word independent is very straightforward to this question, because the teacher would know that, oh, this student knows that the unicellular is functioning in its own, right? Okay, so before I go to our next lesson, I just need to like tell you some announcements that this course has. Actually, the TC STEM program developed a tutoring session for elementary, middle, high school, and high school, and I'll post the information in the Google Classroom if you're interested about it. And we also have geometry, algebra 2, and a lot of courses if you would like to go to. And if you have any concerns related to this course, let me know. Feel free to email me. And let me see. I think that's all about the announcements, and let's start our lesson. Okay. The last 2 weeks, I already showed you the diagram, right? And we briefly talk about it. And I just want to like have a more concise knowledge about it. So let's move on. Okay, so since we already have like the basic knowledge of cells, we are moving on to tissues, and tissues are the group of cells specialized to do certain jobs. So here are the examples of tissues, epithelial, connective, muscle, nerve tissue. So all perform different bodily functions. Thus, they are different cells, right? And specialization or differentiation occurs because only some genes in the nucleus of a cell are turned on. Almost every cell has a complete set of genes, but on those needed for the cell's particular job are active. So think about like analogy of this certain event. How would you compare it in your daily life?
Okay, so it says like occurs because genes are nucleus. Okay, let's say I actually know that, but I literally forgot everything right now.
Okay. Okay. So let's say you turn on the light in your bedroom, right? And then the other lights in your living room, kitchen, or bathroom are not turned on. So
Mhm.
it's basically that the same idea, right?
So basically,
So
what you were working.
wait, come again?
So basically, what we're.
Oh, I think you're cut off. Just type it in the chat.
Okay, so basically, like whatever organ we are working on, like others' organ are not working at the same time. Things
Yeah,
like that.
totally. So, for instance, a red blood cell has all the genetic information needed to make nerve cells, bone cells, and skin cells. But all of those extra genes are turned off, and only the red blood cell genes are activated or turned on, right? It's the same thing of the analogy that we made earlier. And now let's focus on the four primary tissues. The first one is epithelial tissues. Do you have a background information of what is this?
Not really.
Okay, so yeah, so basically it refers to the sheets of cells that cover the exterior surface of the body. So do you see these white linings?
Uh-huh.
Those are the internal cavities and the passageways and forming the certain glands. So
So it defines like different glands.
it's the lines that uh, internal lines, cavities, and passageway to form a certain glands.
Oh, okay.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, so it like divides different parts to like make a gland.
Mm-hmm. It's basically that. Okay, so you can read about this, and I already posted the slide, so you can go back if you need like more information. And the next one is connective tissue. So connective tissue is, as its names implies, it binds the cells and organs of the body together and functions in the protection, support, and integration of all parts of the body. So on the picture given, there is a loose and dense connective tissue and has specific function. Have you go over this in your class last year or no?
Not really. I forgot.
Okay, so it's okay. So basically, loose connective tissue is supporting overlying epithelium and the abundant matrix, or do you see this like protein fibers?
Mm-hmm.
It allows the diffusion of oxygen and nutrients.
Oh, okay.
So the other one on the right, dense connective tissue, it is for strength and it is the compact arrangement of collagen fibers, serves to resist stretch. It's a rope-like structure such as tendons and ligaments, right? So tendons attach skeletal muscles to bones, ligaments connect bones to bones at joints. So you didn't need to like know about that because I'm just like going into depth of certain tissues.
Okay.
So so muscle tissue. So muscle tissue contracts and relaxes to support movement. There are three types of muscle tissue. We have skeletal, smooth, and cardiac. So cardiac muscle contracts to pump blood through the body.
Like our heart.
Yeah, basically heart. Okay, so the next one is skeletal muscle moves the bones when directed by brain. This one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So basically when the brain is like, or when we signal the brain, if we're
Mm-hmm.
lifting a heavy object, it it's neurons would like signal the brain to like move your arm. That's basically
Uh-huh.
the idea of it. And then last one is smooth muscle contracts in digesting. So when we are like digesting our like
That's
foods,
in our stomach.
yeah, that's the stomach. So the stomach contracts when we are like uh basically digesting the food, and
Mm-hmm.
you know stomach has the acid in it, so it's easier for us to
Digest.
to break down the foods. And nerve tissue, this is the last one, and it is composed of neurons, right? So neurons are the main cell type of the nerve
Brain.
tissue,
Mm-hmm.
and supporting cells of the neurons are called neuroglia. It provides support and nutrition and regulate the internal environment of the brain. So neurons are basically the highest specialized uh, in the nervous system that generate and conduct the nerve impulses. So nerve impulses is the signal transmitted along a nerve fiber. So we have here on the picture is our brain tissue, the spinal cord tissue, and the peripheral nerve cells. And let's move on. Okay, so this is the basic unit of neuron.
Yeah, I remember studying that one. I completely
Great.
remember.
Okay. Okay. So over here is the organization of your body. We are going to talk about the organs later on, and here the some of like important organs in our life: heart, liver, lungs, and brain. So these are the like main organs that sustains our life to remain like living, right? Um And organ system are the group of organs that cooperate to perform the major activities of the body. The vertebrate body contains 11 principal organ systems. So here are the 11 human body systems. And before I go over each body system, do you have any question about the organization of life?
No, I get it.
Okay, so over here I have a short video of the function of each body system. Oh, can you hear it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you ever heard
Let's skip that because
Okay.
the circulatory system? You think of blood, and you should, because blood carries gases like oxygen, which your body needs, and helps remove carbon dioxide, which your body needs to expel. Your blood also transports nutrients that your body needs. Your heart is included in the system. It's a pumping machine that transports the blood around. Arteries are vessels that typically carry blood away from the heart. Think A for away. And veins typically carry blood back to the heart. And capillaries are tiny blood vessels throughout your body. Did you ever hear this rumor that your blood is blue and then turns red when it reaches oxygen? Well, guess what? That's not really true. Your blood is red. It's always red, even inside your body, though the shade of red can vary slightly due to the amount of oxygen present. Veins may appear blue or even green to you through the skin, but it's actually related to the wavelengths of light, so to the Google for that. Okay, number 2, the digestive system. It's important for breaking down and absorbing food for your body to get nutrients. Digestion actually starts in the mouth. You have some awesome enzymes in your saliva that get this process going. Your stomach contains acid, which furthers this process along. Your small intestine does most of the absorption of nutrients, and your large intestine has to reabsorb a lot of the water from this process. And just to note, there are a lot of accessory organs also involved in this fascinating process. Third, the endocrine system. You know how you're bigger than you were when you were 6 years old? Unless you are 6 years old. Growth hormone is a hormone that's made a big impact on you. Or another example, notice how your heart starts to race when you have a big test that maybe you haven't studied for. Well, that's another hormone, adrenaline. The endocrine system includes many glands that secrete hormones like those examples. Another system that starts with E is number 4, the excretory system. I like to think exit for excretory because this system is all about excreting waste. And I'm not talking about feces because that's still the digestive system. More like urine. This system involves your kidneys, which are in your lower back. The kidneys assist in removing waste from the blood. And you know they're important because anyone with impaired kidneys may need to go on a machine called dialysis to replace that function. The excretory system also includes other ways of removing waste, such as sweating. Okay, number 5, the integumentary system. This long, fancy word, it's appropriate for your largest organ, your skin. Your skin helps protect your organs from outside damage. It helps with temperature regulation and from losing precious water.
Okay, so I have a question for you. So think about what would be the position of your skin hair if you're in a colder place.
What?
What do you think would be the position of your hair if you're in a colder place?
The hair on my skin?
Yeah.
I think it would like be shivery, I guess.
Yeah, but what would be the position? Like it would be slant, go up?
Go up.
Okay. That's what I just want to know. And
Number 6, the lymphatic/immune system. Has anyone ever checked your lymph nodes on your neck when you feel sick? Well, you have many lymph nodes, and they tend to swell during some illnesses. See, lymph is this clear fluid from blood plasma. It surrounds your cells, and this system collects, filters, and returns the lymph to blood, and the major role is to help with immune function. This keeps your body safe against pathogens like viruses and bacteria. Structures like lymph nodes, the thymus, spleen, tonsils, and bone marrow, they all play a significant role in your immune system. Okay, so now we're more than halfway done with our intro, so hang in there. Number 7, the muscular system. No bones about it. Your bones can't do much without muscle to move them. You actually have 3 major types of muscle tissue, known as skeletal, smooth, and cardiac muscle. Number 8, the nervous system. Your body would be a nervous wreck without something to coordinate it. That always helps me remember it. The nervous system includes your brain and your spinal cord. It controls voluntary actions, that's what you can control, like picking up a pencil, and involuntary actions, the ones you can't control, such as reflexes. At the cellular level, the nervous system uses cells known as neurons. With their amazing structure, these cells are kind of the cool cells on the block. Number 9, the reproductive system. Like it sounds, this system includes reproductive organs. The major function here is that it allows for animals to reproduce. So think babies. Number 10, the respiratory system. This involves the lungs, and this system involves the intake of oxygen into the body and exhaling carbon dioxide from the body. Remember that your cells need this oxygen, and they need to get rid of carbon dioxide in order to function correctly. Number 11, the skeletal system. Bones. Adults have 206 bones, and you had more at birth, but some bones they fuse together, and these bones support you, they protect your organs, think rib cage, and they even produce blood cells from the bone marrow that's inside the bone. Understanding how the human body works is fascinating, and it's necessary so that we can figure out what to do when things go wrong. There are doctors that specialize specifically with each of these systems. The most amazing part to us is their beauty and how they work together, working every second to let you do the things that you do. Want an example? Well, let's say that when the bell rings at the end of the day, you're going to race your friend down the hall. Think of all the body systems interacting for that to happen. Your respiratory system is going to increase its breathing rate, and that extra oxygen is going to be delivered throughout the circulatory system to your body tissues. Your muscles are interacting with the skeletal system for movement. These are just some interactions of the systems working together for that one example. The human body is just truly a magnificent masterpiece.
Okay, let's stop right there and go back to our slides. Okay. So over here, I circled the ones that usually in the that shows up in the living environment regions exam. So we have circulatory, digestive, excretory, immune, endocrine, and reproductive system. And in my slides, I didn't include the integumentary system or the skin and the reproductive system because they deserve like a separate slice of it, and it's very broad to talk about this too. And so instead of creating a Venn diagram, uh, I'm gonna share you a Jamboard that you can maneuver your work on. So give me a moment. Can you check it?
Yeah, give me a minute. Did you send me that in my email?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay. So over here, what you're gonna do is you just need to match the following life processes that correlates with the organelles and human body system. So to do that, you need to maneuver the sticky notes on the left over here and on the right. Oh, I think you just moved it.
I put this back. Sorry.
Okay, it's okay. I'll move it. Okay, so basically of what I'm saying is that you just need to like, let's say it's over here, right? And then you just need to like drag it over here. And we know that life
I'm just
processes
like
of,
putting like if it's an organelle or it's a human body system.
yeah, that correlates
I feel
the
like
function
cell
of,
membrane is like organelles, right?
mm-hmm.
Cytoplasm is organelle.
Yeah, but you need to connect it with the life processes. Let's say, okay, I gave an example over here because you know, like when regulation, it
Oh,
controls
okay.
the wait. Let me remove that and hear me out for the example first, so you know what to put next. So
Yeah.
basically, regulation is the control and coordinate with the various activities, and for nucleus it is the like the main like worker in the or in the cell, and then the cell membrane, it controls the materials that are going into and out of the cell, and then for nervous system, it controls the whole activity that we are like responding to our environment. So that's basically it.
Okay, so let's go like cell membrane. Is it for like excretion?
Mm-hmm.
And then cytoplasm would be for transport.
We will go over it. Just let's see how you can like try to guess it.
Okay. And then there is endoplasmic reticulum, and this one. So basically, for the regulation, what does it? What does it mean by regulation here?
Oh, regulation is like the of control and coordinate its various activity. Let's say the water loss in the plant. So basically the guard cells are controlling the oxygen that are going into the plants, right? And then it will release the carbon dioxide that are going out of the cell.
Okay,
Okay.
let's do like ER, endoplasmic reticulum. It makes protein, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do I put this in the growth or?
Just try your best.
Okay. Cell membrane. There is cell membrane twice.
Yeah. Oh, but they were I mean they in like different life processes. They're not in the same life
Okay.
processes.
Transport. Okay, and then endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, and then there is skeletal. Yeah, I did it.
Okay, let's see. So you put regulation, nucleus. Okay, so I said earlier that the nucleus is
Oh yeah,
like duplicated, so it has another like function in other life processes.
nucleus.
Can you recheck it again?
Growth.
Okay.
I literally don't feel it's growth, but it doesn't has anything, so I'm just gonna put this in growth.
Okay, so let's try to do it from the bottom. So transport, you're right, it is cytoplasm because
Like oxygen and carbon dioxide like pass from
mhm,
into cytoplasm.
yeah, because we talked about the transport like last 2 weeks. So yeah, you're right. And then the other one is endoplasmic reticulum, you're right. But cell membrane is also right. And then circulatory system is right. So let's make an arrow for that. And growth is, it could be nucleus and also cell membrane, because you know that cell membrane has its own protein and then it can repair if it's damaged or not.
Oh yeah.
Remember? Okay, so you are right for skeletal system. And excretion, excretory system, you're right. And cell membrane, you're right. Okay, so I posted the answer for that one, but you don't need to like do it because we actually did it in class. And okay, so last time your psychology interest made me to like research a little bit, and what I like learn about it is that biology is like incorporated with psychology because of you know how we like influence our mind and behavior if we like it's the
Like
way
our
of our
nervous system
decision.
is connected to it, right?
Say it again.
our nervous system? Because we have like nerves in our brain.
Okay, so basically it is linked to neuroscience, and it utilizes the tools such as MRI and PET scans to scrutinize the brain. I don't know if you're like you know about the MRI or PET
I
scan.
think MRI is the thing you test yourself to like see your inside, right? Something like that.
I think something like that. Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna like talk deeper for that because it's not our focus.
Mhm.
And yeah. And so we can talk about biopsychology after class. So let's move on to our main lesson. So this is the overview of organ system. And organ systems communicate, integrate, support, and move, maintain, and regulate, defend, and reproduce the body. So the first one is communicate outside environment changes. So an example for this one is the easiest one for sensory is that when you touch a hot water, your hands it immediately signals the brain, and with no more than 5 seconds, your hands are removed from touch or like you remove your hands from touching the hot water. So there are other organ system that detects external stimuli and coordinates the body's response. We have nervous and endocrine system. We will talk about that later on. And the second one is the support and movement. So basically, the support and movement is about the muscular and skeletal system. So let's oh, okay. The third one is regulation and maintenance. So the four organ systems that regulate and maintain the body's chemistry is called homeostasis. So what is the definition of homeostasis?
Basically, maintaining our body and making the connecting like all the organ systems and organs together to work appropriately.
Yeah, correct. And an example for that in excretory system is think about when we are running and then we are producing a
Mhm.
lot of sweat, right? That is the water loss, and we also saw that from the video that I showed you, and that's basically it, the water loss. Remember that.
Mhm.
And the fourth one is defense. So the body defends itself with two organ system, the integumentary or the skin, and immune system. We will talk about that later on. And the fifth one is reproduction and development. So reproductive system, it includes the the proper the puberty stage and the adolescent stage that a person undergoes to, and the development of the reproductive system results in maturity. Okay, do you have any questions before we go over each body system?
No.
No. Okay, so the first one would be nervous system. So earlier we talked about biopsychology, and
Mhm.
this perspective in psychology is that it signals your brain, your gut from touching. Okay, so it's basically wait, sorry. Um, like from biopsychology is that it allows the researchers to gain a great understanding of how our brain and nervous system influence human behavior. So, by studying normal brain functioning as well as brain disease and injury influence behaviors, feelings, and thoughts, researchers are able to come up with new ways of treating potential problems that may arise because of the advanced technology that we have. And yeah. So this is the purpose of it, to coordinate the body's response to changes in external and internal environment. And here are the more important organs and their function. And I'll just show this is like a 3-minute video.
Kids Health presents How the Body Works with Chloe and the Nerd.
Whoa, that was a big one.
I'll say. Hey, where did the brain go?
That nose tornado scattered the brain all across Bodylandia.
Hello, children. I am the cerebrum.
Oh, hi, friend. Do you know where we could find the brain?
You're going on a marvelous adventure to find 4 important parts of the brain.
Wow.
I am the biggest part of the brain, the thinking part of the brain, and the part that controls your voluntary muscles. Without me, you wouldn't be able to dance or talk to your friends.
No dancing. Oh, dear.
I am the cerebrum. I store your memories and make it possible for you to have feelings and emotions. I'm located right here. By weight, I'm more than 85% of your brain. I'm split into 2 halves. The right half of the cerebrum controls the left side of your body, and the left controls the right side. You need different parts of the cerebrum to do different things. Everything from doing a math problem to playing the piano.
Ooh, that's amazing.
I am kind of amazing. Now, on with the adventure. Just follow the brainy brick road.
Follow the brainy brick road.
Follow the brainy brick road.
We will already. You don't have to be all pushy about it.
Boo. I'm the brainstem. I connect the brain to the spinal cord. Could you stop yelling?
Sorry, we scare easily.
I'm located at the base of the brain, where I connect the brain to the spinal cord. The spinal cord is a bundle of nerves that is protected by the spine. The spinal cord is the main pathway for information to flow from the brain to the rest of the body.
Wow. Nice to meet you, brainstem.
I'm in charge of all the functions your body needs to stay alive, like breathing air, circulating blood, and digesting food.
And that you do.
Hey, Nerb and Chloe.
Hi, Bridge.
Well, I guess you could say I'm sort of like a bridge. I'm part of the brain called the corpus callosum. I'm a thick band of nerve fibers that connect the 2 halves of the brain.
That's impressive.
Oh, hi, friend.
Nice to meet you, friends. I'm the cerebellum. I control your balance, movement, and coordination. I'm located at the back of the brain, right over here. It's my job to keep you balanced.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, let's see. Cerebrum, corpus callosum, brainstem, cerebellum. I think we've done it, Chloe.
That's right. Your adventure is complete. Now, just click your heels and you can go home.
Click my heels? That's not very scientific.
Okay, so let's go back.
That's funny.
Yeah. Okay, so basically they talk about more specific parts of the brain. Wait, say it again?
Oh, I said about the brain.
Yeah. So, but for me, the main organs that we're gonna talk about is the brain, spinal cord, and the nerves. And just take notes if you want to.
Okay.
I'll give you 2 minutes for that. Let me know if you're finished.
I'm just gonna take a screenshot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next one is skeletal system. So its purpose is to provide structure, support, and movement to the human body. So bones are where the new blood cells are generated in the bone marrow and require the mineral calcium for strength. And it also gives the body its shape and provides protection for the organs and stores minerals. So I have a question for you. What do you think will happen if we didn't have our bones?
I think we will not be able to stand up and walk normally.
Exactly. So
Our
we're
body
like
won't get the
lamb.
support.
So here are the major bones of the human body, but I don't recommend like knowing about this because it's too like broad. The next one is muscular system. Its purpose is to work with the skeletal and nervous system to produce movement, also helps to circulate blood through the human body. So in addition to movement, muscular contraction also fulfills some other important functions in the body, such as posture, joint stability, and heat production. And for instance, posture can be seen when we are sitting or just standing. So in this way, it maintains as a result of muscle contraction. So earlier in the video, we talked about the voluntary and involuntary muscle. And do you remember what is the difference between the two?
Yeah, so like the voluntary one, I guess it was like you can like I guess you can control it.
Yeah.
And the involuntary one, you don't have any control of it.
Exactly. So I just want to add for voluntary muscle, this includes the bicep, tricep, and diaphragm because we can control what we are doing, right? And involuntary muscle it include the cardiac muscle and smooth muscle because we don't really like control if we're gonna have a stomach ache or stomach spasm, right? So let's move on. Respiratory system. Its purpose is to provide the body with oxygen and to remove carbon dioxide. So this is a network of organs and tissues that help you breathe. It includes your airways, lungs, and blood vessels. The muscles that power your lungs are also part of your respiratory system. These parts work together to move oxygen throughout the body and clean out waste gases like carbon dioxide. So here are the major organs and their functions. We have nose and mouth, pharynx, larynx, trachea, lungs, alveoli. And take a screenshot if you want to take notes later.
Yeah, I did take.
Okay, so here's a short video.
Kids Health presents How the Body Works with Chloe and the Nerve.
And then the gallbladder stands up and finishes my joke. I mean, the eyes? A prize, Chloe! Oh my dear heavens, a prize!
If the time on this poster is right, the race is about to start any minute. Yikes! We'd better get into our running outfits.
A Nerve is always ready for a race.
Chloe's too.
To the racetrack.
Phew. Made it in the nick of time. They're about to start.
And they're off. The kidneys are in the lead, followed by the eyeballs and the ears. Chloe and the Nerve are in dead last. Chloe, let's pick up the pace, shall we?
This isn't working, and I'm breathing really hard.
You're breathing hard because your body needs more oxygen. Oxygen is in the air we breathe. When you're breathing hard, your lungs can take in more oxygen, and your heart is beating faster to get that oxygen all around your body. In we go!
Do you know where we're going?
Of course, into the respiratory system, and more specifically, the lungs.
Ugh, this is gross, Nerb. There are boogers everywhere.
Let's get out of here, Chloe. When you inhale, air comes into your nose or mouth, and then down your windpipe, also called the trachea. At the end of the trachea are two large tubes called the bronchi. They lead to two large organs responsible for breathing, called lungs. One bronchus goes to the left lung, and the other one to the right. The lungs inhale air with the help from your chest muscles and diaphragm, a dome-shaped muscle under the lungs. As you breathe in, your diaphragm contracts and flattens out. This allows it to move down, so your lungs have more room to expand as they fill up with air.
So when you exhale, everything happens in reverse, and the air goes out the way it came in?
Exactly! Here we come!
This is the lungs? Nerb, it's just another set of tubes.
The lungs have tons of these smaller and smaller sized tubes called bronchioles, which can be as small as the thickness of a hair. The end should be right after the next one. Here we come!
Nerb, where are we?
The alveoli. Fancy word! This is where the magic happens, where oxygen from the air we breathe gets absorbed into the blood. Alveoli are tiny air sacs at the end of each bronchiole. There are about 600 million alveoli in the lungs. Each has a mesh-like covering of very small blood vessels called capillaries. Oxygen travels into the blood through the alveoli into the tiny capillaries that surround them.
Fantastic!
Oh, right, we've got a race to win. But before we go, I should explain the process of exhaling. The air you breathe in is different than the air you breathe out. The most important gas in the air is oxygen. Every one of your body cells needs oxygen to stay alive. Deep inside the lungs, your body takes oxygen from the air and delivers it to the bloodstream. Then your heart can pump oxygen-rich blood all around the body. Then, the process operates in reverse, letting your body get rid of a gas called carbon dioxide, which is waste gas the body doesn't need. Carbon dioxide is carried by the bloodstream to the lungs. Then the lungs exhale it out of the body.
Nerb, we're falling further and further behind in the race.
No worries, I'll kick it into Nerb Hyperdrive.
We're doing it! We're winning!
Nerb now! We did it! We won! The crowd goes wild! Why is everyone so quiet?
Nerb, we won the race like 45 minutes ago.
Oh,
Okay, let's stop right
I
there.
have a question.
Yes,
Can I ask?
sure.
Yeah, so basically, like when we breathe in, only the oxygen goes into our body, right? But there's like a lot of other gases in the air. So why, like, how do we exactly get the oxygen?
Like the certain amount of oxygen that we need.
Well, like basically, why do we like inhale like other gases or like only oxygen? And how is it possible?
You're right. We also inhale other types of gases,
We do.
but mainly our body is acquiring the most important one, which is the oxygen. Because
Our heart, our lungs can only take oxygen, so other gases does not go through that.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
so because like the blood needed the oxygen, so that's why mostly our body takes a lot of oxygen. But for me, I totally understand your like question that there's other like gases around the area
Yeah.
that we may inhale, right? So that could be yes.
Okay.
The next one is digestive system. The purpose is to dissolve food so it can be absorbed into the bloodstream and used by the body. So the interactions with other body systems is the circulatory system, right? Because it absorbs and delivers the digestive nutrients to the cells. Another body system that is related that works with digestive system is the muscular system because it controls the contraction of many of the digestive organs to pass food along. So let's say stomach spasms or contraction, right? So in your abdominal muscle or your abs, stomach or intestines, it's where the contraction is happening, and it depends on which your body is spasming or how badly it is. It might feel like either a slight muscle twitch or just a muscle cramp. So we have the major organs and their functions, and take a screenshot if you want to. And here's another video.
The digestive system. Our digestive system is a combination of mechanical and chemical actions. Imagine putting your food in a petri dish, chopping it up and exposing it to a bunch of chemicals and microbes. Can you imagine what it would look like in the end? This is what the digestive system does. Mouth. The journey down the alimentary canal begins in the mouth. Here, the food is broken down into smaller chewable pieces. Chewing breaks the food into pieces while the saliva mixes with food to begin the process of breaking it down into a form your body can absorb and use. Rolling action of the tongue and secretion of saliva rolls food into a bolus. The saliva contains water, electrolytes, antibacterial components and enzymes such as the amylase. Amylase converts carbohydrates into sugars. Throat. The throat is the region where the mouth cavity and the nasal passages join. Swallowing pushes the food through the throat, or pharynx, and into the esophagus. An important function of the throat is that it prevents the food from entering into the trachea, more commonly known as the windpipe. When the food enters our throat, the larynx, or our voice box, closes. This results in epiglottis covering the entrance of the trachea, or windpipe. The epiglottis is a flap of tissue. Esophagus. Now that the food has reached the esophagus, a wave of smooth muscle contractions occurs, pushing the food into the stomach. These smooth muscle movements are called peristalsis. The importance of sphincter muscles. 3 types of sphincter muscles help in the digestive system. Here, at the junction of the esophagus and the stomach, is a thick ring of circular, smooth muscle that prevents the movement of food pass from esophagus into the stomach. It is called the esophagus.
Okay, so you see how the stomach contracts, right? So that's basically the earlier video was talking about, and yeah, I just wanted to you see it.
Stomach. It is called the esophageal sphincter. Another sphincter muscle, the pyloric sphincter, directs the passage of food from the stomach into the intestine. The third sphincter muscle surrounds the anus, stomach. Most of us eat our food in a matter of minutes, but digesting it can take hours. One of the important functions of our stomach is to store food until it is digested. Food can be stored here for 2 to 6 hours. It also kills the microorganisms we consume unconsciously, along with our food, and begins the digestion of the proteins we took in our diet. The stomach secretes gastric juice, hydrochloric acid, water, mucus, pepsin, and renin that continue the process of breaking down the food. Pepsin is secreted as pepsinogen by cells in the gastric glands that are present in the deep folds of the stomach lining. Other cells in the gastric glands produce hydrochloric acid, which has a pH balance between 1 and 3. The low pH helps convert pepsinogen to pepsin and is also the right pH for pepsin's enzymatic action. Hydrochloric acid, or HCl, also helps break the bonds holding the ingested contents together. The breakdown of these food contents exposes more surface area to the action of pepsin, and later to the other digestive enzymes in the small intestine. Mucus secreted by the stomach lines the walls of the stomach and protects them from being digested by HCl and pepsin. If this coating is eroded at some place of the stomach, for instance by the attack of bacteria Helicobacter pylori, it can cause an ulcer. Contractions of the smooth muscles in the walls of the stomach roll around its contents, mixing partly digested food with enzymes and acids. This acidic fluid mixture of gastric juice is called chyme. Peristaltic movements of the stomach walls push chyme towards the end of the stomach. These waves of peristalsis cause the pyloric sphincter to relax briefly so that very little amounts of chyme can enter the small intestine. In this way, Our stomach empties itself gradually over a period of almost 4 hours. The small intestine works on a small amount of food at a time. We'll continue to explain the small intestine, pancreas, liver, gall.
Okay, so let's start right there. And here are the organs that you can take a picture of. And let's move on for urinary system. So its purpose is to remove toxic wastes in forms of urine and sweat. So its interaction with other body system, or how it works with the other system, is it filters out waste out of blood. So it works with circulatory, with the lungs, or with the respiratory system, and lastly the skin. So basically for lungs, it removes our excretory waste, which is the
Carbon dioxide.
basically. And for the skin, it removes the water loss, which is the sweat. Do you want to watch the video or just move on? I mean, we can watch it to have like
Yeah, sure.
Kids Health presents How the Body Works with Chloe and the Nerve.
Hello there, Nerb.
Chloe, what are you doing up there?
Looking for a learning adventure.
Okay, good luck. Hope you find a good one.
Oh, I already have. Tell me, Nerb, what do you know about the urinary system?
Way too much.
No, seriously, what do you know?
There's some bean-shaped things and maybe some tubes.
Precisely, and also imprecisely. You see, the urinary tract begins at the kidneys, which are the two bean-shaped things. The kidneys are organs the size of your fists that sit under your ribs along your back. Kidneys filter blood to remove waste. That waste and extra water combine to make urine, which is also called pee.
Chloe?
After the kidneys, it's pretty much just plumbing. The urine enters two small tubes, one coming from each kidney.
Chloe?
Those are called the ureters. They lead to the bladder. The bladder is a sac that holds the pee.
Chloe!
Right now, your bladder is probably feeling very full, since you look really stressed out about it. When it's time to go to the bathroom, the smooth muscle of the bladder contracts to push pee into another tube called the urethra, which carries the pee out of the body.
Chloe, you know that typically I'd love to learn anything about the human body. But right now, I think I'd really prefer to talk about anything but pee.
Oh, I'm sorry, Nerb. I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable. It's just that staying hydrated is incredibly important to keep the human body running well. Fluids of all kinds help keep us hydrated, but nothing does it as well as water.
Oh, yes. Tell me more about water, Chloe.
Our bodies are actually made of water. 60% of our body mass is just water.
Have another sip, Chloe. Talk to me about hydration.
We feel better and even think better when we drink enough water. Plus, it's delicious and refreshing. Drinking water keeps you from getting dehydrated. That's when you don't drink enough water and you feel dizzy and sick.
How is that water, Chloe?
It's great. I feel very hydrated. Did you know that you can tell if you've drunk enough water by the color of your pee? If you're well hydrated, your pee will be light yellow because your body has plenty of extra water to get rid of. If you're dehydrated, your pee may be a darker yellow because your body is holding on to the water instead of peeing it out.
Have you had enough water, Chloe?
Yeah, I think I have.
And now we wait.
Ah! I have to pee!
Get in line, sister. It's gonna be a wait.
But I can't wait. I just drank this whole bottle of water. What could possibly be going on in there?
Just take a deep breath and think of all those happily hydrated cells sloshing around in your body, full of all that water you just drank.
That's it. I'm busting in there.
Grandpa Jebediah Nerb?
Eh? Who's that? I'm trying to nap here.
Nap? I've been waiting all this time, and you've been napping?
It's the only place to grab some peace and quiet around here.
Excuse me, Grandpa Nerb, but do you think you could let us pee?
Yeah, keep your pants on.
You know what they say, ladies first.
Oh, no, that's what humans say. In Nerbus, the saying goes up, he who shows up first to urinate is allowed to be the first to urinate.
Oh, come on, you just made...
Okay, let's stop that cute animation.
That's actually so funny. I'm gonna subscribe to them.
Yeah, I usually watch that before. Okay, so moving on to circulatory system. The purpose is to deliver oxygenated blood to various cells and organ system in your body so they can undergo cellular respiration, right? And the major organ that we are going to focus on right now is the heart. And later on, we will also talk about the arteries, the veins, capillaries, blood, and spleen. And it's all in that video, so...
Kids Health presents How the...
The nerves in those guys.
Let me guess, the Pinky Gang?
They've got my mommy!
What? Your mommy? Those knuckle-headed jerks! This has gone too far. Now it's personal. It's mommy-saving time. Read me that note again.
Dear little nerve, oh, that's what she calls me. The Pinky Gang has taken me to the final chamber. And that's it. That's all she had time to write before they took her away.
Now let's skip that part and...
To follow this vein directly to the heart.
Thank you, kind river, for taking us on this noble quest.
Nerve, it's blood. That's its job. Your veins carry blood to the heart, and your arteries carry blood away from the heart.
Away from my heart? Is that safe?
It's not just safe, it's necessary. You need blood everywhere, from the top of your head to your toes. And arteries and veins, called blood vessels, are how the blood gets there and back again.
But why? What do my toes need blood for?
Your body is made of tiny cells that all need oxygen. It's your blood's job to bring the oxygen to every part of your body, including your toes.
So how does this oxygen get in the blood?
The lungs bring oxygen into the body when you breathe. From there, it has to find its way to every other part of your body.
skip that part.
No earthly way of knowing. The oxygen just keeps on flowing, and the eyeballs keep on rowing, and they show no signs of slowing.
Oh, Chloe, make it stop.
Okay, we're here.
Chloe, this heart is huge.
The human heart is only about the size of a fist, but this is the heart of Bodylandia.
Oh wait, do you know if other people says that if you try to like make a fist on your hand, it's the same like actual like size of your heart. It depends on your
The size of my hand is like the actual size of my heart?
yeah, like when you make a fist.
Oh, that's so small.
Really? And
Now, the note says they have her in the final chamber. If we follow the blood flow through the heart, it will take us through the 4 chambers of the heart, the 2 atria and 2 ventricles, and right to her.
Watch out, mommy stealers. Here we come.
Nerb, blood is going that way.
Here we come.
We started in the right atrium where the blood enters the heart. From there, we follow the blood through the tricuspid valve into the right ventricle. Valves keep blood flowing into the right direction. Next, it took us through another valve, the pulmonary this time, and through the pulmonary artery up to the lungs. That's where the blood loaded up on oxygen. We all left that place fully oxygenated, exited through the pulmonary veins into the left atrium, then at last through the mitral valve, and into the left ventricle.
The final chamber.
What's that noise?
Mommy! Oh no! What have you done to her?
Jonathan Nerbquist Nerbington, you shush now. I'm fine.
But you were stolen by the Pinky Gang. How could you be fine?
Stolen? I wasn't stolen, you silly little Nerb. I'm teaching my Monday morning yoga and meditation class.
What?
Didn't you read the note I left you?
The Pinky Gang has taken me to the final chamber.
Turn it over.
For our Monday morning yoga and meditation class.
But it's the Pinky Gang. They're the bad guys.
Oh, they're not that bad. They just need to relax. I'm teaching them how to find their centers.
I feel so focused.
So tranquil.
I never realized being evil was so stressful.
Why don't you join us? When we're done, we can...
Okay, so if you would like to have like a mindful like meditation at the end of the class, I can do that because I have this club in Franny. It's called Mindfulness Club, and I'm the president, so I manage to how my members to control their anxiety, or how to control themselves. If you want that, let me know. And yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if you don't want, it's okay. Oops, sorry. So I just want to add some how the circulatory system works with other organ system is that for respiratory system, it delivers oxygen from lungs to cells and drop off carbon dioxide from cells to lungs. And it works with digestive system because it absorb and deliver digested nutrients to the cells. And it also works with excretory system because the kidney filters cellular waste out of blood for removal. Another one is the lymphatic or the immune system because it transports things to and from cells and the white blood cells to the body to fight disease. Another one would be the nervous system because the brain controls the heartbeat. Okay. Endocrine system. So the purpose of endocrine system is to regulate metabolism, growth, and development, tissue function, sexual function, sleep, and mood, among other things. And here are the major organs and their functions. And basically, it regulates the body activities using hormones. So, do you have any idea what types of hormones that our body uses? Give me any example.
For which reason?
Hormones. Give me any type of hormones.
Like thyroid hormone.
Okay.
And I forgot.
Okay, it's okay. So it's over here. So we have for male, we have testosterone.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay. For female, we have estrogen and progesterone.
Important for reproduction, right?
Mm-hmm. And for there is a fun fact about this because the human body secretes and circulates some 50, like imagine 50 hormones.
Yeah, that's like a lot.
Mm-hmm. And did you know that I think hormones also affects our mood, right?
Yeah, I'm
It's
thinking.
over here.
Yeah, you know, like thyroid, like we have thyroid, right? And
Yeah.
if you have like if you had like hyperthyroidism, then you'll be like moody and angry all the time.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah.
interesting.
So like my sister-in-law has it, and sometimes she become really angry, which is because of the thyroid.
That's why. I feel like for female, because
Yeah,
they're like moody, right?
females
It's
go
because they
through
have
a lot of hormone up and down, I guess.
Yeah, that's why. So basically, the hormones enters the blood system, and it circulates throughout the body and activate target cells.
Like insulin and glucagon, it's the reason for diabetics, right?
Oh, I'm gonna talk about that later on.
Really? Okay.
Okay. So the next one is immune system. So the immune system is to manage the fluid levels in the body, filtering out bacteria and housing many different types of white blood cells. So do you know any other terms for white blood cell?
I think I heard that somewhere, but I don't really remember. I have like short-term memory loss, I guess. I forgot everything.
Okay, so there's another term for white blood cell.
Give me a hint. I think I heard that. The white blood cell.
White blood cells? Wait, what?
Can you give me a hint?
Oh, a hint?
Yes.
Okay, so it's let me see. It starts with letter. You want me to say the first letter? Starts with L. L.
O?
L. L.
L? Okay. I don't know. I really forgot.
Are you sure? Just try.
What's the second letter?
Starts with L.
L and ends with
S.
Oh my god, I literally know this. but I forgot.
Okay, it's fine. So it's the other term is lymphocytes.
Oh yeah, I heard that.
It's over here. Lymph.
Lymph nodes.
Okay, that's fine. The other. Oh, okay. Let's watch the video first, so we can go like.
Kids Health presents How the Body Works with Chloe and the Nerve.
Oh, what a wonderful day in Bodylandia, ain't it, Chloe? Oh, it's a zombie! Chloe, run for your life!
It's me, Derb. I think I'm sick.
Sick? Well, why didn't you say so? That's way easier to cure than being a zombie. Nerb MD is on the job. Rhonda.
Yes, Dr. Nerb?
I'm going to need you to clear my schedule for the rest of the day. Cancel my golf outing with the appendix.
Yes, sir.
Chloe, it looks like you've got yourself a sore throat. I've got you on bed rest and chicken soup. Looks like there is only one thing left to prescribe.
What?
A bedtime story!
Oh, you.
Tonight's story is a fairy tale called The Fellowship of the Immune System, Defenders of the Realm. You and I are characters in the story! Once upon a time, there was a beautiful queen who lived in a beautiful castle. The castle was called Castle Chloe, and she took good care of it.
Here, have an apple, Castle.
Outside of the pretty castle, there were invaders called germs. There are 4 major types of germs. Viruses, which thrive in living...
Okay, so in the video they call it germs, but I would prefer calling it pathogens because it's the scientific.
Okay. Yeah. Get it?
Cells and cause diseases like chickenpox and the flu. Fungi, microscopic organisms that can cause itchy rashes like athlete's foot. Parasites, which can cause diarrhea and other problems. And bacteria, tiny one-celled creatures that cause infections like strep throat and pneumonia. Some bacteria help your body, so not all of them are bad. But these guys sure are. Queen Chloe looked on in horror at the germs on the horizon. She needed the advice of her trusted counsel on how to proceed.
There is a threat to the realm, so I need your help. What do you suggest, vaccine?
I say take care of yourself in a variety of ways before you get sick. Start by getting vaccines, also called shots or immunizations. They help prevent bad illnesses such as whooping cough, tetanus, and the flu. After getting a vaccine, the body is more protected.
Good counsel. What say you, Hando Fingers?
Washing one's hands regularly will prevent germ invasion.
Apple a day?
One should eat nutritious foods.
Runny McRunnerson.
Get plenty of exercise. Hop, hop, hop.
Snoozer the snoozer.
Huh? What? Oh, get enough sleep. Oh, time for my nap.
Stethoscope the bold.
Breathe deep. And get regular medical checkups.
Thank you, advisors. By taking your advice, we should be safe. What was that?
It's a germ invasion!
Despite our best efforts, germs can sometimes still get into the body.
We need a hero. We need...
The Fellowship of the Immune System, Defenders of the Realm!
Greetings! I am Sir Nerblington III, Knight of the Immune System.
Sir Nerblington III? Are you serious? That's the worst name I've...
As I was saying, Nerblington III, the handsomest knight in the kingdom, came to save the day. Do not fear the germ horde, your highness, for we have the immune system, a network of cells, tissues, and organs that work together to keep one healthy and fight infections. Immune system, assemble! The immune system is made up of two different kinds of cells, often called white blood cells. Lymphocytes, present! These guys allow the body to remember and recognize previous invaders to destroy them. Phagocytes, on deck! These guys chew up and devour invading germs. Go forth and fight immune system cells. They can make us sick, but they'll never take our freedom!
So that's it? Those cells went off to fight?
Yes, your highness, but the war for Castle Chloe's health has just begun. There are battles being fought all over the castle as we speak. Some major battlegrounds in the immune system's fight against germs are the body's tonsils and lymph nodes.
Oh, so that's why I have swollen glands on the sides of my neck. It's the immune system cells in my lymph nodes working hard to remove germs and make me better.
Exactamundo!
Another battleground is located in the spleen, an organ tucked under your rib cage on the left. The spleen, like lymph nodes, helps you fight infections.
All of that is going on inside me right now? Can I do anything to help the good guys win?
You sure can.
Sometimes your body can't do it all and needs some help when it's sick. That's when you call in the reinforcements. Grandpa Jebediah Nerve, you know what to do. Fire the antibiotics!
You only take antibiotics when you have a bacterial infection. Only a doctor can say if you need an antibiotic and you need a prescription. Once again, please see your doctor. This message was approved by the Chloe and Nerb Association.
Wow, I had no idea there was an epic battle going on in my body. No wonder I'm so tired.
Yeah, it can take a while for your immune system to knock out all of the bad germs. The best thing you can do to help is to take care of yourself and get lots of rest.
Yup.
Okay, so let's stop right there. And okay, so I just want to add. Oh wait. Okay, so it's already 5:20. I'm gonna extend this maybe if I have time, or if you're allowed to like stay more. And if not, I'll send the video in the Google Classroom. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
And yeah. So anyway, so the other body systems that work together with the immune system is our circulatory system, because it transports the materials to different cells. And with immune system, it holds a lot of, like, white blood cells to fight pathogens.
Mhm.
And where do you think we acquire these kinds of diseases?
What?
What do you think, like, where do you think we acquire these types of diseases? Like earlier, they talk about the pathogens, right? So where particularly are we like getting it from?
Oh, it's from the outside?
Mm-hmm. Like, give me a certain examples.
Okay, let's say we're basically getting it from the air sometime.
Yeah, airborne.
Sometimes with the food.
Yeah, food.
Like
And the most important one is money, right? Because money is like being passed by person to person. So it's
germs
basically you're acquiring it, and it's easy for you to like be get the disease.
Mhm.
And also shaking hands, and
Yeah.
coughing towards a person is totally a big no right now because of the situation. And
Corona.
I know, it's very sad. So basically, let's move on. Diseases, it causing our body to disrupt the role of homeostasis, so it's not balanced, right? If the homeostasis is not balanced, we may face death, or other times we also may face diabetes and other types
Let's
of.
say when we die, I think our body stopped like doing the homeostasis thing. I think that's why we die.
Yeah. Hello everyone, welcome back to TC Surge 1.0 for biology course, and in this video I will be focusing on lymphatic or immune system. Okay, so here is the purpose of the immune system. It is to manage the fluid levels in the body, filtering out bacteria and housing many different types of white blood cells. And I also list the major organs and tissues, lymph nodes, thymus, and spleen. And so think about what is the purpose of your immune system, like in your own way. I want you to think about it. And if you have an idea in your mind, keep that in your mind as I go along in our lesson. So basically, the main purpose of your immune system is to protect your body from viruses and bacteria. The key word is to protect, okay? So it works by recognizing the difference between your body cells and the alien cells, which is the pathogens, all right? So it allows it to destroy any that could be potentially harmful. This usually works well but can cause problems, and I will tell you why. If your immune system is wrongly classifying some of your own cells and can attack them instead, and I will give you some specific examples later on as we go through our topic. And if you are one of the people who has a strong immune system, you are blessed, because it's the biggest advantage for humans, and there are many steps to strengthen our immune system. So in your mind right now, think about any ways that you know to prevent from any diseases. Let's say you drink your vitamin C every morning or vitamin D, and you're having a good sleep schedule, and you're having like daily exercise. Those are the main elements of being a healthy person and having a strong immune system. All right, so if you practice this, it will reduce the risk of contracting highly contagious disease. Now, while watching this video, I want you to think and answer, what are the ways of a strong immune system? So I just answered that earlier, but keep that in mind. And how do you think your body is able to fight off the pathogens in your body? So keep that questions in your mind while we go over this lesson. Let's move on with that. Okay, so last Saturday we briefly talked about how humans acquire diseases from outside. So, basically when you're holding your phone, you're totally getting germs from that because of the screen. All right, and especially shaking hands with others is like not allowed right now because of the situation. And so basically we often get sick if we don't sanitize our hands and not wanting to take your vitamins, because some kids are not interested of drinking their medicine because I think it's just it's not their type of food or taste. So we have to force them, I guess, to drink medicine, because particularly vitamins, because it's like our supplement to avoid diseases. And of course, if we have disease or get ill, our homeostasis is disrupted, so we're not be able to work well, and it feels less comfortable for us. All right, so usually in the real world, money is the source of pathogens, because there's millions of people are using money every day, which could transmit germs or pathogens from human to human. So when pathogens attack our body, we would feel less comfortable, as I said earlier, and the state of homeostasis in our body is unbalanced. So more likely we don't want to work hard, or basically we just need rest and sleep. All right, so here are the disease causing agents. On the right side we have bacteria, fungi, parasites, and virus. Let's move on. So here is the lines of defense. So while watching this video, I want you to think an analogy or comparison of the lines of defenses in the immune system. So last week we watched a video about the kids' health. So it compares to a castle, right? So we can watch that later if we still have time. So basically, the lines of defenses is a serious work. So your immune system is actually made up of 3 lines of defenses. Let's call the first one as the barriers. In the first line of defense, we have the skin, breathing passages, mouth, and stomach act as barriers. They trap and kill most pathogens we come into contact with. Let's start with your skin first. So destructive chemicals in skin oils and sweat destroy many pathogens that land on your skin. The pathogens that remain can't make it through the layers of dead cells that protect the living skin cells underneath. Basically, pathogens can get through the skin if it is cut, but scabs form so quickly that pathogens don't have much time to get in this way. So we're still in the first barrier, so just hang on with that. the second barrier, the second one is the breathing pathogens. So pathogens can enter your body when you inhale, and it includes the respiratory system such as the nose, pharynx, trachea, and bronchi. And these are armed with mucus and cilia. The sticky mucus traps pathogens, and the cilia sweeps it away to be swallowed and destroyed in your stomach. In addition, sneezing and coughing force pathogens out of your body. Finally, your mouth and stomach of your digestive system can destroy pathogens you swallow. Let's say infected food, right? So your saliva in your mouth contains chemicals, particularly enzymes, that kills pathogens. So if the pathogens make it down to your stomach, they will be destroyed by your stomach acid, because you know how this acid in our stomach breaks down the food easily, right? It does the same thing with pathogens. So if the pathogens get into your body and begin to damage your cells, your body's second line of defense kicks in. And remember, it's in the blood or bloodstream. That's why it's called the internal defense. So the first one is the external, because it's outside, exit from the word exit, right? And then the second one from the word inside, internal. All right. So the second line of defense is called the inflammatory response. In the inflammatory response, blood vessels widen to send extra blood to nearby tissues. Your blood is not just made up of red blood cells. Your blood also has disease fighting called white blood cells. So in the inflammatory response, when extra blood goes to the tissues affected by a pathogen, a type of white blood cell called phagocyte. Sometimes people call it macrophages, which is fine. Alright, so these phagocytes attack pathogens by engulfing them, by swallowing them whole and breaking them down. If the pathogens harm cells enough to cause fever, your third line of defense steps up. The third line of defense is called the immune response. We're over here. So in the third line of defense, we have so basically the cells of the immune response can tell the difference between different kinds of pathogens and react to each kind of pathogen with a targeted response. Remember, white blood cells are disease fighters, and two types of white blood cells play a big role in your immune system. The first one is the T cells. The job of a T cells is to recognize what specific kind of pathogen the body is dealing with. There are tens of millions of T cells in your body looking for different types of pathogens. The T cells then go find the other white blood cell of the immune response, which is the B cells, are able to make substances called antibodies. Antibodies target specific pathogens. These antibodies attach themselves to pathogens, making it difficult for the pathogens to attach themselves to healthy cells. Antibodies also cause pathogens to clump together, which makes them easy targets for phagocytes to come along and engulf the pathogens. So over here is the definition for antigens, which are the proteins on the cell membrane of pathogens or any foreign substances. You will see it over here on the right figure or photo. This is the pathogen, and on its surface you will see the antigen. And the third figure over here, the white blood cells are starting to engulf the phagocyte, and then we have the antibodies. The definition for antibodies is that these are the proteins made by B cells that tag invaders in the blood so macrophages can eat them. So remember, antibodies are produced by B cells. So they are proteins, not cells. Alright, so antibody attach to antigen of invader. So they will match with specific sizes and shapes of antigen. Alright, so like in the beginning of our session, I said that like your phone charger and your connector or your cell phone, if you have iPhone and then you have iPhone charger, it will fit perfectly, right? It's the same thing with antibody and the antigen binding together. So I just want to add that the lifespan of T cells is much longer than B cells. So T cells could last or could remain in your body around 6 months, while B cells could remain in the body like 8 to 10 weeks. So why is that? Just think about why T cells remain in your body longer than your B cells. Just remain that question in your mind, and we will answer that later. And also, we are going to watch a video as a summarize to wrap this lesson up, alright? Okay, but anyway, in the bloodstream, there are 80% of white blood cells, and other people specify it as CD4 or CD8. But you don't need to know that specifically because that's like in depth. And T cells can only connect to virus antigens on the outside of infected cells. They form killer, helper, and suppressor cells. So killer T cells react against transplant and cancer cells, while suppressor cells inhibit immune system. So basically, T cells, they also defend against pathogens, including protists and fungi that enters the cells. So we said earlier that there was 80% of T cells in the bloodstream, but for B cells, there are only 20% of white blood cells in the blood. They form antibodies. Remember, antibodies are proteins made by white blood cells. Also, they form memory cells and plasma cells. Usually, B cells connect to antigens right on the surface of the invading virus or bacteria. Okay, so take a picture of this screen or this part of slide in case you are having trouble. All right, so for more clarification, antigen are the proteins on the cell membrane of the pathogens. These antigens will be sent to dendritic cells to present it on the cell surface to the T cells. They act as messengers between the innate and adaptive immune system. So I will talk about the dendritic cells later on in the video that we're gonna watch. So antibodies are Y-shaped, but sometimes they have different forms of shapes and sizes. And I will show it to you later. And it is produced by B cells as an immune response. They help eliminate disease-causing agents from the body, for instance, by directly destroying them or by blocking them from infecting cells. As I said earlier, these antibodies work by recognizing and sticking to specific proteins such as those found on the surface of various viruses and bacteria in a highly specific way. Remember, antibodies molecule has antigen binding sites specific shape to antigen. Or remember that specific shape, and remember the analogy that we made, the iPhone charger and the iPhone cell phone itself. And when the body encounters a microbe or pathogen for the first time, immune cells produce antibodies that specifically recognize proteins associated with that particular pathogen. Alright, this is a picture of a Y-shaped antibody protein, and these are the different shapes or sizes of antigen. Alright. Okay, so treating diseases. We have antibiotic as a substance produced by microorganisms that will kill or inhibit the growth and reproduction of bacteria. Remember, last time we watched a video about it's a source from Kids Health, I remember, and they told us that antibiotic is prescribed by your doctor. It's not a candy or any type of food that you can eat anytime you need or anytime you wanted. Okay, so for active immunity, it is a long-term by actual encounter with infection or vaccination. So after you recover from an infection and you receive a vaccine, it is a substance contains the weakened, dead, or parts of pathogen or antigen. All right. So it is a small number of these antibody producing immune cells usually remain in the body as memory cells, providing immunity to future infections with the same condition or disease. Okay, so if we have the vaccine, let's say for flu, and we're not going to be able to we're going to be able to contact with flu, but our body can, or particularly our white blood cells, can recognize these flu pathogens because they already encountered that before when you had flu in the first place. All right. So since memory cells and antibodies are already present, next time the body encounters the same pathogen, the immune response is much faster and better to stop the infection from taking it hold. So let's move on for passive immunity. So it only refers to pregnant women who can transport their antibodies to ill babies through placenta or breast milk. Okay. So disorders of immune system. There are I just want to add for that one that antibodies can also cause harm. All right. So antibodies that recognize the body's own proteins instead of proteins from infectious pathogens can cause harm. In autoimmune disease such as lupus, multiple sclerosis, and rheumatoid arthritis, people produce antibodies that stick to their body's own proteins and attack healthy cells. So sometimes our own body doesn't recognize recognize our own protein as intruders, so it might affect our own health. So okay, so for allergies, I provided you the definition. This is the overreactions to harmless substances. And allergens are the causing allergy. Example are animal hair, dust mites, pollens, peanuts. Alright, so allergies involve a special class of antibodies called immunoglobulin. When these antibodies detect allergens, they trigger immune cells to release histamine and other inflammatory molecules, which can cause the unpleasant symptoms associated with allergic reactions. So for clarification, allergens are the causing allergies. So basically, these are the protein shapes that has different sizes and might trigger the production of antibodies because they thought these allergens are intruders. So sometimes other people are allergic to peanuts because their body or their antibody don't recognize this specific antigens to peanuts. All right, so they were attacking it as as if the peanut are like pathogens. Okay, so before I end this recording, I just want to wrap it up with a short summary of immune system video. Let's go over that. And this video Alright, so this video talks about the main elements of the immune system, so take notes if you need, okay?
Second of your life, you are under attack. Billions of bacteria, viruses, and fungi are trying to make you their home. So our bodies have developed a super complex little army with guards, soldiers, intelligence, weapons factories, and communicators to protect you from, well, dying. For this video, let's assume the immune system has 12 different jobs. For example, kill enemies, communicate, etc. And it has 21 different cells and 2 protein forces. These cells have up to 4 different jobs. Let's assign them. Here are the interactions. Now, let's make this understandable. First of all, let's add colors to the jobs. Now, let's illustrate the cells. The central color represents the main job of the cell, while the surrounding ones represent secondary duties. Now the immune system looks like this. Now the interactions. Isn't this complexity just awesome? For this video, we will only talk about these cells and ignore the rest. So what happens in the case of an infection? It's a beautiful day when suddenly a wild rusty nail appears and you cut yourself. The first barrier of the immune system is breached, your skin. Nearby bacteria seize on the opportunity and enter your wound. They start using up the body's resources and double their numbers about every 20 minutes. At first, they fly under the radar, but when a certain bacteria population is reached, they change their behavior and start to damage the body by changing the environment around them. The immune system has to stop them as fast as possible. First of all, your guard cells, known as macrophages, intervene. They are huge cells that guard every border region of the body. Most of the time, they alone can suffocate an attack because they can devour up to 100.
Okay, so remember, macrophages are the white blood cells that engulf pathogens, all right? And then they will eventually destroy it in their inside.
Intruders each. They swallow the intruder whole and trap it inside a membrane. Then the enemy gets broken down by enzymes and is killed. On top of that, they cause inflammation by ordering the blood vessels to release water into the battlefield, so fighting becomes easier. You notice this as a very mild swelling. When the macrophages fight for too long, they call in heavy backup by releasing messenger proteins that communicate location and urgency. Neutrophils leave their patrol routes in the blood and move to the battlefield. The neutrophils fight so furiously that they kill healthy cells in the process. On top of that, they generate barriers that trap and kill the bacteria. They are indeed so deadly that they evolved to commit suicide after 5 days to prevent them from causing too much damage. If this is not enough to stop the invasion, the brain of the immune system kicks in. The dendritic cell gets active. It reacts to the signals of the...
Okay, so the dendritic cell are the antigen carrying materials, all right?
soldiers and starts collecting samples from the enemies. They rip them into pieces and present the parts on their outer layer. Now, the
You will
dendritic
see
cell
they
makes
have
a
different
crucial decision.
sizes of
Should they call
antigens.
for antivirus
Just
forces that eradicate
make sure
infected
you
body cells
check
or an
that.
army of bacteria killers? In this case, antibacteria forces are necessary. It then travels to the closest lymph node in about a day. Here, billions of helper and killer T cells are waiting to be activated. When T cells are born, they go through a difficult and complicated training process, and only a quarter survives. The surviving cells are equipped with a specific setup. And the dendritic cell is on its way looking for a helper T cell with a setup that's just right. It's looking for a helper T cell that can bind to the parts of the intruders which the dendritic cell has presented on its membrane. When it finally finds one, a chain reaction takes place. The helper T cell is activated. It quickly duplicates thousands of times. Some become memory T cells that stay in the lymph node and will make you practically immune against this enemy. Some travel to the field of battle to help out.
Okay, so he said that the memory T cells, which are the purple ones, so they last longer because they remain in the body, right? So as I said earlier, the time span of the memory T cells and memory B cells are almost 6 months.
Field of battle to help out. And the third group goes on to travel to the center of the lymph node to activate a very powerful weapons factory. Like the T cells, they're born with a specific setup. And when a B cell and a T cell with the same setup meet, hell breaks loose. The B cell duplicates rapidly and starts producing millions of little weapons. They work so hard that they would literally die from exhaustion very fast. Here, helper T cells play another important role. They stimulate the hard-working factories and tell them, "Don't die yet, we still need you. Keep going." This also ensures that the factories die if the infection is over, so the body doesn't waste energy or hurt itself. But what is produced by the B cells? You've heard of them, of course, antibodies. Little proteins that are engineered to bind to the surface of the specific intruder. There are even different kinds of antibodies that have slightly different jobs. The helper T cells tell the plasma cells which type is needed the most in this particular.
Okay, but in living environment regions exam, you don't have to remember these different classes of antibodies because usually it's always the Y-shaped antibody is being used, okay?
Particular invasion. Millions of them flood the blood and saturate the body. Meanwhile, at the site of infection, the situation is getting dire. The intruders have multiplied in number and start hurting the body. Guard and attack cells fight hard, but also die in the process. Helper T cells support them by ordering them to be more aggressive and to stay alive longer. But without help, they can't overwhelm the bacteria. But now the second line of defense arrives. Billions of antibodies flood the battlefield and disable lots of the intruders, rendering them helpless or killing them in the process. They also stun the bacteria and make them an easy target. Their back is built to connect to killer cells, so they can connect and kill the enemy more easily. Macrophages are especially good at gnoming up the bacteria which antibodies have attached to. Now, the balance shifts. In a team effort, the infection is wiped out. At this point, millions of body cells have already died. No big deal, the losses are quickly replenished. Most immune cells are now useless, and without the constant signals, they commit suicide, so as not to waste any resources. But some stay behind, the memory cells. If this enemy is encountered ever again in the future, they will be ready for it and probably kill it before you even notice. This was a very simplified explanation of parts of the immune system at work. Can you imagine how complex this system is? Even at this level, when we ignore so many players and all the chemistry. Life is awfully complicated, but if we take the time to understand it, we always encounter endless wonders and great beauty.
Alright, let's end it right there and continue and finish this one. Alright, so we're gonna do Kahoot next time we meet, and I just wanna end our lesson or this video recording, and yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Have a nice day.